Imagine, right? Just dropping 100,000 followers in a single week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And by extension, losing a massive chunk of your actual real-world livelihood. And imagine that the catalyst for this monumental financial and social collapse wasn't, I don't know, some massive cinematic crime.
Right, it really is.
Exactly. It started because you refused to fill out a standard dietary preference form.
Which is just wild to think about.
It is. We are looking at a world where missing a wardrobe fitting can eventually snowball into total institutional annihilation. So welcome, everyone. I am officially welcoming you to today's podcast, Tea Under the Spotlight.
I have to say, the contrast in the materials we are examining today is, well, it's striking.
Oh, totally.
Because on one side of the table, we have this highly rigorous academic-style sociological essay. It's titled A Forensic Reconstruction of Influencer Institutional Breakdown.
The very fancy.
Right. It treats digital drama with the gravity of, like, a corporate bankruptcy. But then right next to it, we have the raw data.
The messy stuff.
Exactly. Real-time, unfiltered Reddit threads from communities like our Beauty Guru Chatter, Right of the Loop, and our Pop Culture Chat.
So we are essentially bridging the gap between high-level media theory and the absolute trenches of internet drama.
Which is the best place to be, honestly.
It really is. Our mission for you today is to deconstruct the life cycle of digital infamy. How does an internet star go from millions of adoring followers, top-tier collaborations, a booming brand, to just total collapse?
It's a steep drop.
Yeah, and we are going to explore the micrologistics of professional meltdowns, the incredibly dark weaponization of trauma, a bizarre case of mistaken identity involving an FBI hitman sting operation.
That part is still hard to process.
I know. And because the human brain simply cannot handle this much toxicity without a break, a strangely necessary palate-cleansing detour about a pit bull inspecting fresh bed sheets.
We really do need that break later. But to frame this entire conversation, we need to understand a fundamental shift in how labor and accountability operate in the modern era.
Okay, set the stage for us.
So in the traditional working world, if a colleague is toxic or abusive, you have a rigid structure, right?
Like HR.
Exactly. You have mediators, a human resources department, a chain of command. The creator economy has completely obliterated that structure.
Because there is no HR department for YouTubers.
Exactly. The audience, the people listening to this right now, functions as a massive, decentralized HR department. You act as the judge and the jury.
Oh, that's a really interesting way to put it.
Yeah, and in this digital court, receipts, the screenshots, the direct messages, the leaked audio, those are the only recognized currency.
Right, and I want to dive straight into this concept of the parasocial contract because, while we usually talk about that in terms of the fan-to-creator relationship.
The illusion that you're best friends with the person on your screen.
Exactly, yeah. But the sources highlight that this contract actually fractures behind the scenes first. We really need to look at the Escape the Night era.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Yeah. Specifically, a video released by a creator named Jen Dent titled Gabbie Hanna Tried to Ruin My Life. Now, Gabbie Hanna is the central figure in our analysis today.
Just for context, for anyone who might not know, Escape the Night was this massive YouTube premium ensemble show run by Joey Graceffa.
Right, like high production value, large crews, huge budgets.
Very legitimate production.
Exactly. And what struck me in the academic source wasn't that Gabbie was acting like, a stereotypical diva, but the sheer mundane administrative nature of the obstruction.
That's the key right there. The academic text actually isolates administrative noncompliance as the first indicator of systemic breakdown.
Administrative noncompliance, meaning like just not doing the paperwork.
Right. Because on a professional set, paperwork isn't optional. Dietary preference forms, allergy warnings, scheduling grids for wardrobe fittings, those are the bedrock of production logistics.
You literally can't run a set without them.
Exactly. And the sources allege that Gabbie refused to fill out her dietary forms until she physically arrived on set.
Which is just a nightmare for caterers.
Total nightmare. And she actively blew off 2 out of her 3 wardrobe fittings. And it's important to note, she didn't just oversleep.
Right.
She consciously refused to participate in the basic logistics of her own job.
I have to stop you there, though, because I am struggling to see how this is uniquely a digital creator problem,
How do you mean?
Well, we've heard stories for decades about 1970s rock stars trashing hotel rooms or like Hollywood directors throwing phones at assistants.
Fair point, yeah.
Right. And if I refuse to fill out mandatory paperwork at my corporate job, HR pulls me into a room and I get written up. If I do it again, I'm fired. So why didn't Joey Graceffa or the production company just fire her?
That's the logical question.
Isn't the lack of traditional HR actually a failure of the production company rather than a unique symptom of the influencer economy?
Well, that assumes the production company holds the leverage, which is how traditional Hollywood operates.
Okay, explain that.
The movie studio can recast an actor because the audience is paying to see the character or the franchise, right?
Right, like James Bond or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in the creator economy, the influencer is the franchise.
Oh, wow.
Their entire value is the prepackaged audience they bring with them. If a digital production fires a creator like Gabbie Hanna, they lose her millions of subscribers.
Which instantly tanks the video's return on investment.
Exactly. The creator knows they hold the audience hostage, and therefore, they hold the production hostage. They operate as this unregulated, autonomous entity within a collaborative space.
That makes the power imbalance so much clearer and honestly so much darker when you look at how the junior crew members were treated.
The crew always suffers the most in these situations.
They really do. Because she wouldn't fill out her food preferences in advance, she arrived on set and claimed her eating disorder was at an all-time high, complaining that she wasn't being accommodated.
Which is manipulative.
Completely. The production staff understandably panicked. And the sources show that junior production staff, and we're talking about people likely making minimum wage, grinding through 14-hour days, they were forced to use their own personal debit cards.
Wait, their own personal money.
Yes, their own personal debit cards to run out and buy special food to appease her.
See, the financial exploitation of subordinates is a critical data point here.
Oh.
Those production assistants do not have union protection.
No.
They do not have a grievance process. When an influencer's personal brand eclipses their professional obligations, the financial and emotional toll is silently extracted from the crew.
And it gets worse.
Oh, I'm sure.
The receipts in this case show that after those junior staff members made that personal financial sacrifice out of their own meager paychecks, Gabbie allegedly refused to even eat the food they brought her.
Are you kidding me?
No, it's infuriating. And it wasn't an isolated rumor either.
Who else corroborated it?
Multiple major creators on that set, Rosanna Pansino and Alex Wasabi, for example. They corroborated this nightmare environment, including the specific claim that Gabbie verbally abused a production assistant, calling her a dumb creant.
Wow. So the crew is literally trapped.
Completely trapped. The production company won't protect them because they need the influencer's audience. So how do they ever get justice?
They are forced to become whistleblowers.
Right.
Because the traditional avenues of conflict resolution just do not exist. The only way a marginalized crew member can seek restitution or even just clear their professional name is by taking their raw data directly to the decentralized public.
They have to make an expose video.
Exactly. They are forced to participate in the drama economy just to highlight a legitimate labor dispute.
Which is so messed up. And it takes us out of the realm of professional logistics and into something much, much more damaging.
Because being a nightmare on a film set is one thing.
Right. The sources reveal a pattern of behavior that goes far beyond missed wardrobe fittings. We are moving into the territory of deep interpersonal manipulation and the weaponization of other people's trauma.
Yeah, the behavioral patterns shift from professional obstruction to severe interpersonal boundary violations.
Which brings us to the Jessi Smiles saga, and I want to give a clear warning to whoever is listening right now, because this specific conflict deals heavily with sexual assault and the very messy, painful aftermath of that trauma.
It's a very heavy topic.
It really is. According to the Reddit threads and the deep dive analyses, this is the conflict that permanently altered Gabbie's digital footprint.
For good reason.
Yeah. Jessi Smiles and Gabbie were very close friends, and the falling out occurred because Gabbie chose to actively associate with and publicly defend the friends of a man who had sexually assaulted Jessi.
The sociology of this dispute is incredibly grim. We are looking at a profound betrayal of trust, obviously.
Obviously.
But more importantly, we are looking at how an influencer utilizes the public sphere to validate their private moral failings.
And the specific quote that shattered the internet's perception of this whole situation is, well, it's hard to even say out loud.
It's horrific.
In the middle of this public feud, Gabbie publicly said to Jessi, quote, "Curtis's friends did not rape you."
I mean, Consider the mechanism of that statement for a second.
Okay.
By broadcasting that to an audience of millions, the influencer is engaging in a textbook form of secondary victimization.
Secondary victimization.
Yeah.
So re-traumatizing her on a public scale.
Exactly. The original trauma is no longer a private human tragedy. It has been commodified into a rhetorical debate tactic. She minimized a survivor's trauma purely to win an internet argument and justify her own social calendar.
And the lengths she went to in order to win that argument are staggering. Like, she began labeling Jessi as psychotic and crazy across all her platforms.
It's a classic Darvia tactic. Deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender.
Oh, absolutely. But the detail from the sources that truly cemented this as an institutional breakdown was the direct messaging campaign.
Right. The DMs.
Gabbie became so obsessed with clearing her own name and proving that Jessi was the unstable one that she started direct messaging random teenage fans on Twitter.
Just random kids.
Random teenagers. She was sending these teenagers Jessi's private medical and psychiatric information. She was disclosing Jessi's specific medications to children on the internet.
Let's analyze the metadata of manipulation occurring here, because it's fascinating in a very dark way.
Please do, because it seems insane.
Right, from a standard public relations perspective, info dumping highly sensitive, legally precarious medical data onto random teenagers seems entirely irrational.
It seems like a massive liability.
It is, but within the logic of the influencer panopticon, it is a calculated, albeit incredibly reckless strategy.
How so?
By funneling this private information to fans, the influencer is attempting to use their own audience as a decentralized proxy firm.
Oh, wow.
The goal is for the fans to leak the information to the drama channels on her behalf. It creates a layer of plausible deniability. She can sit back and say, well, I didn't leak her medical records, a fan did.
Except that completely backfired.
Totally backfired.
Because she fundamentally misunderstood her own audience. The fans receiving these messages realized the massive power imbalance.
Right. They aren't stupid.
Exactly. You have a 30-year-old millionaire creator sending a 16-year-old the private psychiatric records of another woman.
It's deeply unsettling.
The fans themselves were so disturbed by this that they leaked the DMs. But not to expose Jessi. They leaked them to expose Gabbie's manipulation.
See, the proxy strategy collapsed because it violated the audience's baseline threshold for human empathy.
Yeah, there's a line.
There is a line.
Yeah.
And the sources meticulously document that this was not an isolated lapse in judgment either.
Not at all.
It was a repeated methodology for handling interpersonal friction across her entire peer group.
Oh, the burned bridges detailed in these Reddit threads are endless. Let's take Trisha Paytas.
Oh, that was messy.
Very. Trisha actually had to consult a lawyer about obtaining a restraining order because Gabbie was allegedly going to their mutual friends and spreading rumors that Trisha had an STD.
Which is just beyond inappropriate.
Right. Then you look at the Mikey situation. Mikey runs the channel Glam and Gore, and they filmed a collaboration video together.
I remember that one.
The sources describe the raw footage of this collaboration as deeply, deeply uncomfortable. Gabbie spent the entire video screeching, dominating the physical space, and repeatedly trying to kiss Mikey on camera.
Despite Mikey's obvious physical discomfort.
Exactly. And when they inevitably had a falling out later, which was over YouTube monetization, Gabbie condescendingly tweeted at Mikey to, quote, "Stop biting the hand that feeds."
That specific phrase, biting the hand that feeds, it reveals the underlying architecture of her worldview.
What do you mean?
She does not view her peers as autonomous friends or colleagues. She views them as subordinate nodes in her own network.
Oh, I see.
Any collaboration is framed as an act of charity on her part, which then demands absolute loyalty. We see this dominance play out repeatedly.
Like with the makeup brushes.
Yes, pushing a low-quality makeup brush scam and literally telling the fans who bought it to manage their expectations.
That was wild, and exploiting a deceased murder victim's shirt for content.
Exactly. The core mechanism is always the same. Center the self, extract the value, and minimize the collateral damage.
I mean, just listening to this catalog of behavior is exhausting. If you're tracking this timeline with us, your brain is probably feeling the very real fatigue that comes from consuming the influencer panopticon.
It's heavy.
It's a relentless wave of toxicity, broken trust, and weaponized receipts. Our neurochemistry actually reacts to this. We process this digital drama with real cortisol spikes.
We really do.
So, we are taking a necessary detour. I am pulling a completely different source from our stack right now. We are going straight into the subreddit 4 pit bulls.
Thank goodness. The biological imperative for a palate cleanser cannot be overstated here.
I promised a reset, and this Reddit thread delivers. Okay, so there is a video in the sources of a pit bull, and this dog has assigned himself a very specific, highly rigorous job in his household.
Oh, I love dogs with jobs.
Every single time his owner washes the bed sheets and puts them back on the bed, this dog absolutely must inspect them.
A forensic analysis of the thread count, basically.
Precisely. The video shows him burrowing furiously into the fresh laundry. He is snarfing. He is actively fighting the blankets, wrestling them to show the sheets who is the boss.
That is amazing.
The comments in the thread are pure gold. One user described it as a rigorous stink-stunk-stank inspection.
Big dog stink.
Right. He has to make sure the sheets meet his exact olfactory standards, and he has to rub his own biological scent all over them before he can finally relax and fall asleep. People were joking that someone needs to invent dog-scented fabric softener because it would fly off the shelves.
I mean, I'd probably buy it.
Yeah.
But, the mechanism of why we seek out this exact type of content is actually fascinating.
Oh, break that down for us.
When we are immersed in the digital economy,
Mm-hmm.
A space saturated with parasocial betrayals, secondary victimization, constant surveillance, our cognitive load becomes overwhelming.
We just get burned out.
Exactly. The brain actively seeks out an antidote. We curate our algorithms to occasionally feed us pure, uncontrollable innocence.
Like a dog fighting a blanket.
Yes. An animal needing to imprint its scent on clean laundry before a nap provides the exact psychological relief necessary to counteract the exhaustion of human internet culture.
It's so true. The internet operates like an endless forensic audit of human flaws, so we desperately need the dog doing a forensic audit of fresh linen just to survive the timeline.
We really do.
But, all right, let's bring that cognitive reset back to our main narrative, because the ultimate question is, what happens to the human brain when that relentless forensic audit is turned entirely on you?
That's the tipping point.
All the receipts have been published, the peers have spoken out, the fans have leaked your manipulative DMs. What is an influencer's final defensive posture when the entire digital ecosystem turns hostile?
Well, we enter the stage of performative crisis.
Performative crisis.
Yeah. When the objective reality of a situation, the texts, the videos, the corroborated testimonies, when that no longer supports the influencer's narrative, the only remaining option is to reject the concept of objective reality entirely.
Wow. Okay, and this brings us to the manic TikTok era.
Yeah.
Late 2021 into 2022. The sources outline a period where Gabbie Hanna uploaded over 100 erratic TikToks in a single day.
In 24 hours.
Over 100 videos.
We really have to look at the algorithmic architecture of TikTok to understand why this happens.
Okay, yeah.
The For You page operates on a slot machine mechanism. It rewards hyperfrequency and extreme emotional displays with viral reach.
So it's basically feeding the spiral.
Precisely. The platform's very design incentivizes a psychological spiral by providing immediate massive engagement for erratic behavior.
But when the public became genuinely alarmed, and critics started pointing out how dangerous this spiral looked, she didn't step away.
No, she leaned in.
She deployed what I'll call the art defense. She claimed she was just punking the audience. She literally looked into the camera and asked, "Are you guys being manic about my art?"
The art defense is an incredibly potent psychological shield.
How so?
By retroactively labeling her erratic behavior and interpersonal cruelty as performance art, she attempts to create a void where accountability cannot survive.
Oh, I get it. Like, you just don't understand my genius.
Exactly. If everything you do is an avant-garde performance piece holding a mirror up to society, then you can never be criticized. You frame yourself as a misunderstood genius, and the audience becomes the villain for failing to grasp the performance.
The problem was the audience was experiencing very real distress. Fans were flooding her comments, begging for trigger warning.
Because the content was really intense.
It was graphic, it was deeply distressing, and viewers explicitly stated it was triggering panic attacks. But her response to her own fans' distress was completely devoid of empathy. She coldly replied to them, "I'm a gore channel. What do you expect?"
That is the ultimate paradox of her specific brand.
What do you mean?
Historically, she utilized her own mental health struggles as a primary mechanism to build parasocial intimacy and shield herself from professional critique.
Right, she talked about it constantly.
Yet the moment her audience requested baseline sensitivity regarding their own mental health, she treated their vulnerability with absolute derision.
And this disregard bled into her actual commercial output. She attempted to pivot into a music career, right, and released a track called Medicate.
Oh, the backlash to that was huge.
Massive. The sociological sources document heavy backlash from the community because the song actively commodified and stigmatized clinical psychiatric treatment.
Was very damaging.
She marketed a highly negative, shallow view of medication to an impressionable teenage demographic, focusing on feeling, quote, like a zombie, while entirely ignoring the life-saving realities of psychiatric intervention for millions of people.
And this is the moment the digital panopticon fully closed in on her.
The panopticon.
Yes. It's a concept originally designed by philosopher Jeremy Bentham. It's a circular prison where inmates can be watched at any moment, forcing them to constantly police their own behavior.
Okay, so the internet is the prison.
The internet functions as a digital panopticon, but the audience are the wardens. And the deep dive forensic channels like Hello Leash act as the lead investigators.
And they were not buying the art defense.
Not at all. They pulled the metadata, cross-referenced timelines, and built multi-hour digital indictments, proving that this wasn't high art. It was an attempt to evade accountability.
The resulting loss of digital capital was catastrophic. As we mentioned at the start, the sources show she hemorrhaged over 100,000 followers in a single week.
We really need to define what a loss of that magnitude actually means.
Please do, because to a normal person, it just sounds like numbers on a screen.
Right. In the creator economy, your follower count directly dictates your CPM, your cost per mil, or what advertisers pay per 1,000 views. Followers are the collateral you use to secure brand deals and sponsorships. When 100,000 people actively unsubscribe in a matter of days, it doesn't just hurt your feelings, it shatters your business model.
Wow.
The algorithm registers the mass exodus and suppresses your future content.
Which brings us to a fascinating existential question. Where does a canceled influencer actually go?
It's a great question.
When the digital ecosystem entirely rejects your business model, what is the next step? The sources document what we call the normie pipeline.
The forced transition from digital omnipresence back to localized, conventional civilian labor.
Right. Gabbie Hanna essentially vanished from the internet, complete radio silence. And when she eventually reemerged, it wasn't on a rival platform, and it wasn't a reality television comeback.
No.
She reemerged working as a fitness instructor at a local YMCA in Pennsylvania.
The reality of the YMCA job is a profound anchor for this entire analysis.
Oh, so?
We have a societal tendency to view internet drama as ephemeral, something that isn't real life.
Right, just online drama.
But the digital panopticon has permanent, real-world economic consequences. The surveillance and the hostility of the audience became too intense to sustain a digital livelihood, forcing a return to the conventional labor market.
But wait, the sources throw an absolute massive curveball into this narrative. A plot twist so bizarre it feels like a glitch in the simulation.
I still can't believe this happened.
If you were casually scrolling through your newsfeed recently, you might have seen a headline that stopped you dead in your tracks. The headline read, "TikToker Gabbie arrested for hiring a hitman."
This requires immediate, unequivocal clarification.
Yes, I am stating this as clearly as humanly possible. This is a completely different person.
Completely different.
The person arrested was TikToker Gabbie Gonzalez. Not Gabbie Hanna, Gabbie Gonzalez.
The mechanics of how those two identities conflate in the public consciousness is a critical danger of algorithmic news distribution.
It is terrifying. Let's look at the facts of the Gabbie Gonzalez case from the sources, just to be clear. Gabbie Gonzalez and her father were arrested for attempting to hire an online hitman.
An online hitman. Let that sink in.
Right. Their target was the singer Jack Avery from the boy band Why Don't We? Gabbie Gonzalez actually shares a 7-year-old daughter with Jack Avery. The sources report that she and her father went online to a literal rent-a-hitman website to solicit his murder.
The rent-a-hitman concept exposes a darkly comedic reality about digital crime.
It really does.
These websites do not operate in the way that desperate criminals imagine they do. They are virtually always federal sting operations or run by undercover local police.
It's wild that people fall for it.
There is famously a satirical website called Rent-a-Hitman, operated by a man in his house, who simply takes the inquiries and forwards them directly to law enforcement. The fact that anyone still believes they can order a contract killing through a web browser is astounding.
The Reddit threads were absolutely ruthless about this. The pop culture subreddits were full of comments like, "Pro tip for aspiring criminals. The online hitmen are always the feds." But I want to explore the danger you just mentioned. Think about how our brains process information. If I'm scrolling my feed on my lunch break, my brain uses heuristics, right? Mental shortcuts. I see the words TikToker, Gabbie, and arrested. I don't read the article. I instantly lump that into the mental bucket of the controversial Gabbie we spent the last hour talking about.
Exactly.
How dangerous is it that a former influencer currently teaching Zumba in a Pennsylvania YMCA can have a felony assassination plot accidentally mapped onto her reputation just because of algorithmic name association?
It exposes the ultimate flaw in our digital architecture. Human memory is incredibly fragile, and algorithmic feeds are designed for speed, not nuance.
Right, we just skim.
We absorb the headline, we connect it to a vague pre-existing memory of controversy, and we assume guilt. It demonstrates that even when an individual completely removes themselves from the digital panopticon, the shadow of the internet can still project a completely unrelated catastrophe onto them.
The digital footprint is indelible.
Absolutely indelible.
So, how do we synthesize all of this? We've gone from a production assistant being forced to buy lunch because of a missing dietary form to the weaponization of a friend's assault trauma, to the YMCA, to an FBI hitman's sting. What is the fundamental takeaway from this massive stack of sources?
The core thesis of the modern era is that off the record no longer exists.
Never.
The structure of accountability has fundamentally changed. Whether you are exploiting junior staff on a set, leaking private medical records in a Twitter war, or falling for an absurdly obvious federal sting operation, every single text message, direct message, and forum post is a permanent receipt.
It's all archived forever.
Yes, the traditional human resources department has been permanently replaced by an archiving forensic audience, and that audience never clocks out.
The digital record is completely unforgiving.
It is. But, I think we need to turn the lens back on ourselves for a moment.
Okay, let's hear it.
We demand total, unfiltered authenticity from the creators we consume. We insist on seeing the raw, unedited reality of their lives. But the moment that authenticity reveals something toxic, we instantly transform into the jury that exiles them and destroys their digital capital. If we are the ones constantly demanding to see the mess behind the curtain, if we reward the forensic drama channels with millions of views, if we actively revel in the tea, are we, as the audience, complicit in creating the very monsters we eventually have to cancel?
Wow. Are we funding the Coliseum? That is a genuinely heavy question to mull over. So we have to know where you stand on this. If you found out your favorite influencer was treating their behind-the-scenes staff terribly, forcing them to pay for things out of pocket, screaming at them on set, would you instantly unsubscribe? Or does the sheer entertainment value of their content matter more to you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
It is a defining ethical dilemma for the modern digital consumer.
It truly is. And please make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an upload. We mention this because hitting that like button actually tells the YouTube algorithm that people enjoy this kind of deep sociological internet analysis, and it forces the algorithm to push the video out to more people who love geeking out over these topics just as much as we do.
We genuinely appreciate every single one of you who takes the time to engage with the material like that.
We really do. Thank you so much for joining us today for this podcast, Tea Under the Spotlight. And the next time you find yourself in a petty workplace disagreement, just take a deep breath and be grateful that the only person pulling out your file is Susan from HR, and not a decentralized army of a million internet sleuths operating a digital panopticon. Catch you next time.